Dungeons & Dragons honors Chris Perkins by making his short-lived Critical Role Kobold a part of D&D history, a free Mighty Nein comic book is on the way, and another huge Cosmere RPG update from the Brotherwise team.
Explain yourself.
Welcome to Tabletop News Tuesday on the Character Sheet, your first look at the week's biggest fantasy and TTRPG news. Before we talk D&D tributes, Tariff troubles, and Mighty Nein dinner theater, why not take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help us keep these videos coming? And then, let's dive into the news.
Check this out!
Dungeons & Dragons has officially said goodbye to Jeremy Crawford and Chris Perkins, and in doing so they made both of their most iconic actual play NPCs an official part of D&D lore. That's right, to honor Chris Perkins, they've made his record-breakingly short-lived Critical Role character, Spurt the Kobold, an official NPC that will live on in the lore forever and can be downloaded right now on D&D Beyond. And as for Crawford, they have done the exact same thing with V, the gnomish artificer he played when he took over for Perkins as the GM of the Acquisitions Incorporated actual plays created by Penny Arcade. Unlike Chris Perkins, who has labeled his departure as a retirement, Crawford appears to be moving on to different companies or ventures, as made clear in his statement about his time at Wizards of the Coast. His insistence that he will see us all at conventions in the years ahead also makes it seem like Crawford will soon be competing against the D&D brand he helped build for nearly 2 decades. Crawford, who was a vocal opponent of the inclusion of AI in Dungeons & Dragons, also went on to thank nearly every position he worked with at the company whose work has been threatened by the implementation of AI, from writers to graphic designers and artists, perhaps as one final dig at what he perceives to be the not-so-pleasant future of the company he has now left. But if you ever feel nostalgic for either Jeremy Crawford or Chris Perkins and their work at D&D, at least you can now include their iconic NPCs in any of your campaigns with just a click on D&D Beyond.
Can't wait!
The team at Brotherwise Games offered another big update on the record-breaking Cosmere RPG Kickstarter, which despite a massive $15 million plus raised, somehow continues to be on track to hit its promised release date in just a few months. The last time we checked in, the team showed off some finished components from the Kickstarter, but this time we got our very first look at the beautiful Stormlight World Guide, full of absolutely phenomenal artwork on basically every page of this incredible hardcover book. While flipping through the entire book, the Brotherwise team gave us a good look at nearly every major section of the World Guide, from maps of Roshar, the world where the Stormlight Archive takes place, to chapters on the various nations and cultures of Roshar, to our first real look at the stat blocks for monsters and NPCs in the Stormlight Archive RPG. Those stat blocks, which resemble the ones used by D&D but with a much more simplified and easy to read single-line stat block at the very top of every entry, should be easy for any game master to pick up and implement. And they feature a wealth of interesting attacks and actions for each monster and NPC to use. Basically, they sort of look like what the new D&D 2024 stat blocks tried to look like. And if everything in the Cosmere RPG keeps looking this good and this high quality, we cannot wait to get our hands on it when it releases around September or possibly even earlier this year.
But I want it now!
Speaking of Kickstarters, there is some seriously bad news for backers of nearly any project on the huge crowdfunding platform, as Kickstarter has just announced a new tariff manager tool that will allow creators on Kickstarter to add new fees to projects that have already funded and finished to cover the steep increase in prices expected from tariffs levied by the United States in the last several weeks. This means you could wind up paying a lot more for a board game or RPG you thought you've already backed and paid for months ago. While this could keep Kickstarters that would otherwise suddenly fail fulfillment after getting hit with huge new shipping tariffs at the last minute, even Kickstarter admits that this will be passing on a lot of unexpected costs to the backers, and that it could result in widespread refunds and disappointed fans as they have to back out after the cost of their new Kickstarter board game or RPG suddenly skyrockets. We'll have more details as the tariff manager tool begins rolling out shortly, but until then it's just another way that these new tariffs are hurting our tabletop gaming hobbies.
Shit just got real!
And finally, Critical Role is offering fans a free Mighty Nein comic for Free Comic Book Day on May 3rd. The new comic, which is part of their Mighty Nein Origins series of comic books with Dark Horse, features the iconic team of Bo and Caleb as they try and hunt down a person of interest in their investigations, only to find themselves back at A Taste of Tal'Dorei, and treated to a bizarre dinner theater version of the exploits of Vox Machina. And just when Caleb and Bo were starting to lose themselves in the play based on the iconic adventuring party, some familiar faces show up to make the evening even more interesting. So if you love that odd couple buddy cop dynamic that Bo and Caleb bring to the table, and you want to see two of the most jaded members of the Mighty Nein enjoying the community theater version of the exploits of Vox Machina in the most famous bar in all of Bassaras, including some clever nods to both Liam and Marisha's other characters, as Caleb is given a raven's mask and Bo is given an antler headband before they're set down for their dinner and a show, make sure you head to your local comic book shop on May 3rd to grab your own free copy of the Mighty Nein Origins and check out this strange and amazing new tale. And that's all we have this week for Tabletop News Tuesday. Let us know what your favorite story was down in the comments, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons.